Hi everyone, welcome to Life After JW's live stream and good morning from Macau. This is Stella and we're going to be having Melissa today.
Hi.
Hi Melissa, hi. Good evening over there. What time
Yeah,
what time is it over there?
it's 9 o'clock
9. Okay.
Eastern time.
It's 9 a.m. here in China. Welcome
Oh
to the
wow.
future.
Yeah.
Okay. Glad that we could have you here right now and thank you so much for coming over to Life After.
Thanks for
And
having me.
we want to learn more about you, your how you're living your happy life right now. But before that, we want to learn how you get involved with the Jehovah's Witnesses. Could you tell us a bit of that story?
Okay. Well, my grandma was the first in my family. My both of my grandmothers were the first in my family to become witnesses. They were converted when my mom and dad, my mom's from Missouri, my dad's from Los Angeles, and they were in their young teens when both of my grandmothers came in at almost the same time, came into the religion at almost the same time. And so this was, oh man, must have been in the 40s, in the 1940s. um, and so my parents were raised in the truth from early teenage years on, and my mom moved from Missouri. Her and her family moved from St. Louis, Missouri, to California, and that's where my parents met in Los Angeles. And
Mm.
they were married in the 60s, the mid 60s. And then I came along, so I was raised. I was third generation in in the Jehovah's Witness
Born in,
religion. So the
born
what?
in, born
Yes,
in.
yes. I was born in. I all of my I had, I think, one or two uncles on either side that weren't in the religion, but other than that, aunts, uncles, all my
Okay,
cousins, everybody was in the religion.
98%.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. How was it with you growing up as a Jehovah's Witness? What was it um hard?
It was hard. It was hard because my parents were not compatible at all. I mean, they fought all the time. Like if they hadn't been in the religion, they would have never met and they would have never gotten married. They were very, very different, and it was hard because they were unhappy. They were unhappy together. They were unhappy with their
Mm.
life, and so it made there was I'm the oldest of four kids, and it was pretty miserable. Because we were all trying, because the standards, in this religion, is they're very high, and so we were all
Mm-hmm.
trying, but it's too much pressure, and so it was a pretty stressful childhood, and left me with a lot of trauma that I dealt with later in life.
There's so much responsibility on your shoulders, especially that you were the
Yeah.
first. Oh, you were the firstborn. Uh-huh.
Yeah, my parents had to work a lot. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, but on the weekends, my dad owned a gardening business, and on the weekends, they would go off together and uh, clean up yards, and I was left to watch
Mhm.
my brothers and sisters. My youngest brother wasn't born yet, but I had my other brother and my younger sister that I had to watch, and so we spent our weekends just us kids. But
You you were the little mama.
yeah, yeah, and it was quite stressful. I mean, this was in Orange County, California. I grew up at the beach, and it was a beautiful area, but it's a economically, you have to have some money to live there, otherwise you're struggling. So we were, of
Mhm.
course, struggling.
As most Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yes, yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. My parents. I don't even think I, I don't think either one of them even made it to high school. I mean, they dropped out like soon
Becoming.
after my grandmothers became witnesses.
Mhm.
So,
Oh, we got a couple of comments from Cyprus and from Australia. I
oh,
don't know if
nice.
you've seen them. Yeah, they were saying hi.
Oh,
Thank you
hi.
for watching. Okay. Oh, how about telling us how did you wake up?
Well, my whole life I had problems with the patriarchy.
Oh,
It always rubbed me the wrong way, but just like everything else in the religion, if I felt that it wasn't right, I internalized it that it was my fault, that it was just
uh,
me. It, it was my problem that I needed to just get over. And ever since I was just a small girl, I just never I could just could not swallow the sexism and just the way women were treated. And I just internalized that and swallowed it and just, it just grew and grew and grew and grew until it's been 5 years this fall. So it's been 5 years now that I just I couldn't ignore it anymore. I
mhm.
was physically I was suffering for probably before that, probably about 3 or so years. I was suffering so bad from anxiety that I couldn't hardly walk into a Kingdom Hall without having a panic attack.
Attack.
And I would sit there through the meetings, just trying to breathe the entire
Mhm,
time. The whole 2 hours, and it was cut down to an hour and a half. But the whole time I sat there just trying to breathe. And I remember when it was time to stand up and start singing, I couldn't catch my breath because I'm in the middle of
mhm.
having a panic attack, trying to just look normal, just trying to smile. And I would just word the words to the songs because I couldn't get enough breath in my lungs to
Mhm,
sing because I'm just
mhm.
a constant panic attack. And most of the time towards the end, like the last year, I had to leave halfway through the meeting and just go sit in my car because I
Oh,
just couldn't take it. And it was my body telling me, you can't do this anymore. You've got to be authentic to yourself. You have to listen to your intuition because this is not working. And
mhm.
I was finally at a point where I was so depressed that I was seriously considering suicide because I just could not take it anymore. And I felt like uh, Jehovah didn't love me enough because I wasn't a good enough person. Like I couldn't get over these negative feelings I had towards the society for being so sexist
It's
and
still your
not
fault.
accepting. Right. I totally see that now, but at the time I was like, no, it's me. I'm the problem. So when I left, I walked away. I was still a believer. I
Mhm.
just had accepted the fact that I wasn't going to make it through Armageddon because I was not good enough, and I'm not going to try anymore because I can't even walk
Oh
into a
God,
Kingdom Hall without having a panic attack. So I just gave up. I was still a believer, but I just gave up.
that's
So
just too much.
soon after that, I was like, okay, I'm not going to survive unless I stop believing. Like I have to. It's something that I have to be proactive about and stop believing because I can't live in this limbo, just not be
Mhm.
believing but not going to the meetings because then you even feel worse. So I was like, I have to find the root of what of these horrible mental problems that I'm having. And I got into therapy pretty quickly after that. And
Mhm.
through really intense therapy, I was in intense weekly therapy for a year and a half. And through that time, I started to see my mind just opened up. Like I've been in a cult. Like what? I mean, it was so weird just my whole mind just opened up, and it was like, wow, there's a world out here. There's
Mhm.
all these people and all these beliefs and all these different things. I was like a kid in a candy store. It's like, oh my gosh, all this stuff was out here my whole life. I didn't even know that. I mean, I was 48, so I had spent almost 5 decades in this cult, in this religion, that
Mhm.
I had no idea that there was this life out here. Like I knew there was other religions and I knew there was other beliefs, but I didn't really, I never spent any time looking into it, because why would you,
We're not
right?
allowed.
When you're a witness and you're told that that's it and that's
We're
the
not
truth, and
allowed. Mhm.
yeah, don't listen to anybody else. Don't read anything else. Just, if it doesn't come from the society, if it doesn't come from the governing body, then it is not true.
Mhm.
Boy, when I found out that that wasn't true, it was like, wow, look at all this stuff. This is great.
That is so freeing. You know that
It is.
feeling.
It is.
Mhm.
I spent a while like not feeling anchored to anything. Like I was drifting out in space, because everything that I thought was true, everything that I thought I knew, wasn't anymore. So I
Mhm.
didn't have
Mhm.
any reference. I had no way to base my decisions on, because all of a sudden everything that I thought was true and right and the way things are supposed to be, all of a sudden it wasn't. And then
Mhm.
I was just like, wow, now what do I do? I had to take a step back, and I'm not a fast learner by any means. Obviously, I mean, it took me 48 years to figure out I was on the wrong path, but it took me a while to come into myself, like to find out who I was outside
Mhm.
of being a witness. I spent several years on and off in the full time ministry. I was a regular pioneer. I was a regular auxiliary pioneer on and off. Well, I was raising my kids. We have
Mhm.
3 children. They're all adults now. We have 6 grandchildren. But I had to find out who I was. I mean, I was this person, and I wasn't a witness anymore, which that's 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 my was my identity. I mean, everything was just, I was a witness.
That's the first for you
Yeah,
to
yeah.
find out who you
To
are.
find out who I was and what intuition was, because we're always told, oh, don't lean on your own understanding, the heart is
Mhm.
treacherous. Don't listen to that voice in your head, because it's Satan. So
Basically, that is gaslighting. The Bible telling us that don't trust
yeah,
people.
I
Yeah.
I never
When
even heard
I,
of gaslighting before. So I was like,
me too.
what?
Yeah. When I hear the Bible verse in Proverbs, it disgusts me really. It
Yeah,
put us down way below that.
yeah,
You have to crawl back from that rabbit hole that the society has built
exactly.
upon us. Yeah. So,
Exactly, because they teach you you're nothing. You're nothing, and uh, you give all of your power over to the society, to the governing body, and to God, and you
mhm,
retain none of that power
yes,
um,
to yourself.
to yourself. So you're completely powerless. And
Mm-hmm,
I had to find that. I had to find my own power.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And that is so empowering once you find out the right path to yourself and getting to know yourself for the first time. And that
Yeah,
is so huge. And you don't
yeah.
know the possibilities that will come out from that. Anyway, I have a side question.
Okay.
What about your husband? Is he
Um,
a Jehovah's Witness still?
we both are faded. We never, we
Oh,
weren't
okay.
disfellowshipped or anything. So, he left with me, but
Mm.
we met in high school, and between the time of when I was 16 to the time I was 19, I was not associated with the witnesses, but I was, I was, of course, I still believed, but like a
Believe.
lot of teenagers, I was doing my own thing. And even though it was in the back of my mind, because I still believed it, I met my husband in high school. We were married at 19,
My
and
God.
at that time, he started studying with my grandma.
Uh-huh.
So a couple of years later, we were both baptized because I wasn't baptized at that time.
Mhm.
So a couple of years later, we were baptized together, and that's when he
Oh,
came
okay.
into the truth.
Religion.
Yeah, that's how he found out about it. I brought him into it. Poor guy. I brought him into it because I at the time we lived together for 4 weeks before we were married, and
Mhm.
I was like, I can't do this. I'm so guilty. I'm like
Guilty.
guilt ridden. I was
Mhm.
19, and I was like, I can't do this. So we're either gonna have to break up or get married because I can't do this. So we went to Las Vegas and we got married, and that was almost 35 years ago. So, but he stopped going when I stopped going.
Maybe
But
he's
it
just
was a
waiting for you.
Yeah, well, it was he he was a believer too. I mean,
Okay.
he believed it too, and it was harder on him because I had made up my mind after several months in therapy after we both quit going. I had
Mhm.
made up my
Mhm.
mind that I was going to not believe anymore. I'm going to reprogram my brain because that's the only way I'm going to survive.
Mhm.
But it was harder for him, and it took
Oh,
years. I mean, it's been 5 years now, and he's just now starting to say,
starting.
yeah,
Mhm.
that's right. They didn't have the correct. They're not they're they're not they're not saying the right things. Like they're not.
Yeah.
After I had already been out a year and in therapy for a year, and I found the Australian Royal Commission video um, from Lloyd on
Mhm.
YouTube, and I had purposely not watched anything critical, certainly not anything that would be considered apostate
Mhm. Mhm.
for that whole
Just
year because I wanted to make sure that the decision was mine and
from
to
yourself.
leave, and that I
Okay.
wasn't influenced by any outside anything. So
Mhm.
after I'd been out for a year, then I found that video about the Australian Royal Commission, and up until then, I had never even heard of it. And this was what back in 19 to 2015 when that
2015.
happened, and I had never even heard of it. I had heard rumors that there was some child
Investigation.
sex abuse in
Mhm.
the organization, but I didn't believe it, of course, because whatever the governing body says it's truth. So I didn't
Mhm.
believe it. But then when I watched that video, I was in shock to watch the governing body member up there saying lies that I knew were lies,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
anybody who was a witness and associated with the organization knows that he was lying. And I was like, a governing body member lying? No, this can't be. I I was crying, like it affected me bad. It affected me really badly. So after that, then I was like, okay, so I started talking to my husband about it, and I'm like, this is not right. This is just, I mean, we've been in a cult. I mean, they're lying. You can't, it was like
Yeah.
my suspended belief. It was like, oh no, no, this isn't right.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So I'm glad that I found that because I don't know how long it would have taken me otherwise to
Oh,
really open
I
my eyes.
I owe it to Jeffrey Jackson also how I woke up. It was him that flicked the switch in my brain.
Yeah,
Um,
like
because
you can't
yeah, I can't
you
help
can't
it.
lie like that. I mean, everything we've been told since birth. I'm like,
Uh,
don't. That's not right.
So I'm grateful for Jeffrey Jackson for waking me up. Really, nobody suggested me the Australian Royal Commission. I watched it in 2018. So
Oh,
when I
okay.
saw
Good.
it, yeah, it was suggested by YouTube because I was watching Prime Stories, and when I saw it, oh my God,
Yeah.
is
I
this
don't even
true?
remember how I found it because I wasn't watching anything else. I have no idea how that came up on my suggested feed or how I still have no idea. But
Um,
maybe it was the universe telling
yeah,
me, hey, it's time to wake
maybe.
up, girl.
Oh, we have a question.
Okay.
How long have you been out? And
five
it says
years.
I'm late. Okay.
It's been 5 years this fall. I remember sitting in my car. We had just gotten back from a meeting. The trees were turning, and I was sitting. My husband got out of the Jeep. I have a Jeep. He got out of the Jeep, went in the house, and I was still sitting there looking at the trees, thinking, I'm in trouble. Like
Mhm.
I cannot go back. I cannot go to another Kingdom Home. I cannot go to another meeting. I'm in trouble. I'm in big trouble. And I prayed. I prayed, help me,
Mhm.
because I the 8 months preceding this incident, I had been praying nonstop. I mean, because I remember always hearing the stories of that at conventions, how people when they thought maybe they would fall out of the truth, but they doubled down and they really started praying and making sure they went to every meeting and read all the literature, and that's what I did. I mean, for eight
Mhm.
months that's what I did. I was not I didn't read any, because I love reading. As a
Mhm.
writer, I love reading. I love reading fiction. I love watching movies because that's where I get some great ideas. I quit all of that. I quit reading. I quit watching TV. I quit everything that gave me any ounce of pleasure. I stopped it, and I was
Hard.
praying the whole time because I thought I was drowning, and I wanted Jehovah to help me hold on to this because that's all
Mhm.
I knew.
Mhm.
And then at that 5 years ago, in the fall, I just remember sitting in the car thinking, I am in trouble because this what I've been doing the past 8 months has not worked. Like, I haven't missed meetings. I made sure I was out in service at least 3 or 4 times a week. It didn't work. So I made the decision to not go back to another meeting. And so that was 5 years ago.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay. There's another question. Do you have to be confronted by the elder committee?
I the elders never. I had a friend, a very good friend of mine, one of my best friends. Her husband was an elder, and they came over a couple of times after I stopped. We stopped coming to the meetings, but that was it. None of the elders ever contacted me about coming to a judicial hearing or anything like that. And so we just and we've lived in the same house, so I don't know. But then COVID hit, and so the last 2 years they haven't been meeting. The Kingdom Hall that I used to go to here in my town, they sold it. It's a church now. But I don't know where they're meeting, but they have not contacted me. They haven't texted me. They haven't come over to the house, so I have no idea. But
You
oh
have been
well.
completely forgotten.
Yeah, yeah. I put up uh I I now I celebrate Yule, which is like Christmas, but we put up Christmas lights. I call them Yule lights on our house 2 years ago, and I was still a little afraid because I thought, somebody's going to drive by this house and they're going to see these lights, and for sure
Mhm.
they're going to tell the elders and they're going to come knocking at the door, but they never did. So I'm like, okay.
You get off.
Yeah, I'm totally
Uh-huh.
forgotten. Oh well.
How about your kids? Are they awake? All awake?
Yes, I
Okay.
raised all three of my kids in the religion, of course. My oldest two children were baptized. My son was baptized, I think, at 12, He was pretty young. He was baptized, and he started pioneering. My middle child, my oldest daughter, she was baptized a few years or later, but they're both awake now. And
Oh,
my youngest
that's good.
daughter never did. She was probably 15 when she told me, "Mom, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to study. I don't want to go to the meetings." And by that time, I was like, yeah, "There's okay. I'm not going to force you. There's, you
You're
know,
good.
I'm not going to fight." you know.
That's awesome. Okay, so everyone is out. Oh,
Yeah,
there's
and
another
there's
question.
most of my cousins are out now, and my
Oh,
grandparents and my parents are all dead. So I didn't have to worry about the shunning. I mean, I lost all my friends, and that was heartbreaking. But my family, I have my family. They're still here. I talk to my most of my cousins. My kids are out, so I didn't
mhm.
have to worry about the shunning so much.
Okay.
Thank
Okay.
goodness.
That's a relief. Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah,
They can all be gone.
yeah.
I don't care. Oh, we had a question that popped in earlier.
Oh,
Did you have witness friends that talked to you?
I don't have. I mean, they stopped talking to me right away. I had probably three really close friends, and they don't talk to me at
Okay,
all.
that's good. Okay. Okay. When I go to your profile, I saw that you are an author, a feminist, and a witch.
Yeah.
So tell us more about it. I'm so curious to hear everything
Okay.
about you. Especially, let's start with the author.
Okay.
How?
I have always written like stories for myself. I love writing. When I was, I don't know, 3 or 4 years old, I told my mom that I wanted to be an author when I grew up, and she's like, "Yeah, okay, that's fun, that's cute." Before I even learned how to read, I was drawing picture books. So I've always wanted to be a writer, but of course, you can't do that if you're if you're in the religion. You can't do much of anything, especially if you're a woman. Um, so after I got out, I had these novels. I had two novels written, but I wasn't ever going to publish them. I mean, they were stories, but I love epic fantasy, like Lord of the Rings type things. That's just, I love that. That's my genre, and they were fantasy novels, and I did my very best to keep magic out of it, because magic can't write about that. Well, at least I wrote these novels, and I tried my best to have. Oops, did we go? Did we take off? Am I still here?
You're still here?
Okay, good.
Okay.
Okay.
We're
It
just
it
seeing your
came.
picture in the screen.
Okay, all right. I'm so bad with technology. But anyway, I had these novels, but I got them edited and changed some things. But anyway, after I left in 2016,
Mhm.
2016, 5 years ago, I I decided I'm just going to do it. I got the novels edited, and I um, published them myself. I'm an independent author, so I published them myself. I wrote the third novel, got that
Wow.
edited, published that. I'm currently working on two different series, and I need to finish that fourth novel in the series. I
Oh,
have to finish that, but I'm going to be doing all that next year. I've
wow.
written a couple of short stories that have gone into anthologies that somebody else published. Um, I have a Patreon that I've set up, and I give away a short story a month for anybody that subscribes to my Patreon.
Mhm.
So I'm always writing, and I've got lots of cool ideas for this 2022 coming up. I've got an entire 7 book series mapped out,
Wow.
and I've written the outlines to the books. So I'm excited about getting into that. I've got a sci-fi 3-book series that I've started writing, but I still have to outline the first 2 books or the last 2 books. But that's my writing career.
How do you do it? I mean, how do you start even a chapter?
I just have a lot of ideas, and uh, I just sit down, and the way I write, I do have to outline because I'll forget, but I don't follow it super closely because I'll follow it, but then I'll get an idea and oh, this would be cool, so I'll write that part, and then the outline changes a little bit. But I go very linear. I can't say that word. I start the first chapter or the prologue, and then I just go right through the book. And sometimes I don't even know how the ending is going to be exactly, so I'll have to write the ending and then go up into the earlier chapters and change some things, tweak some things, add some characters. But it's just I don't know, it's like a game like you play when you're a kid with your little dolls or animals and stuff. At least I did when I was a kid.
You have a very wild imagination,
I
I
do.
think. Yeah.
I do. The weird thing is that I didn't really I mean, I had some reoccurring nightmares
Oh,
while I was still in the religion, but I didn't really dream until I left. And I dream all the time
oh,
now. And that it is so weird. I don't know why, but it's like my subconscious isn't being held down anymore. It's just open. So I'll just
releasing.
dream. I'll dream. I dream every night, and
Mm-hmm.
I get a lot of my ideas for stories and stuff from my dreams.
Oh, well, it's so good that you can remember them all,
Yeah.
your
Well, I
dreams.
don't remember them all, but I try to write them
Most?
down because some
Oh,
of
okay.
them are really weird, and I have a dream journal that I I write in. Otherwise, I'll forget. Like by mid afternoon, I'll forget it unless I write
So,
it down.
do you do it as soon as you got up from bed? Oh, I
Yeah,
dreamt something and then
in
write
the
down.
morning.
Oh.
Yeah, I light some incense. I do meditation, and I'll write in journals because I don't have a very good memory, so I'll have to write it down.
Well, every one of us forgets. Maybe we remember details of our dream when we wake up, but it fades out so easily, so quickly. So
Yeah,
if you don't write
it
it
does.
down as soon as you
It
got
does.
up, it will
Yeah.
slip off your head. Yeah. So you have plenty of books, my goodness. And there's
Yeah.
more to come.
Yes. Yes. I've the last, I don't know, since the pandemic hit, it's been really hard to get focused and sit down and write every day. Um, so I haven't really published that much in the last year and a half. But this coming year, I've got a whole um, schedule of books that I'm going to get finished and published next year. And because
Mhm.
I'm an independent author, I can publish as many times as I want during the year.
Mhm.
Traditionally, published authors usually have to wait 2 years, sometimes more, between
Oh,
books because of the contracts that they sign. But
oh.
since I'm an independent author, I don't have to sign any contracts like that. So I can put it as quickly as I can write them and get them edited and get the
Uh-huh.
cover art done. I can publish. So
Awesome, awesome. How about the feminist in your bio?
well, I think I've always been a feminist, but of course, when you're a Jehovah's Witness, that's not something you can be, and I think that's probably why it bugged me so much as a kid and growing up, the sexism and the patriarchy in the organization. I think that's why it bugged me so much, because I knew deep down that wasn't right. So once I got out, I'm like, whoa, I can be a feminist. Yes, this is great. And when I when I first got out, I think, like, you know, when you're swinging a pendulum, it really swings. If you've been holding it to one side, it really swings to the other side really far until you know, till you find your center. So I was probably, you know, way over here for a while, because I found my freedom. Like, I found my voice. I had a voice. I can talk. What? I mean, women weren't allowed to do that. We had to be silent and obedient. And now I didn't have to be. So I probably fought online way more than I should have. But now I found my peace. So I'm still a feminist, absolutely, but I don't get into those arguments anymore, because it messes with my energy, my positive energy.
Mm-hmm. Your peace is much more important.
Yes.
Uh, but it's a little bit hard for XJWs to transition from that, because back in the organization we were um, relegated to a certain position below.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how was it possible for you to? I mean, yeah, you said that you were having that thoughts even when you were a Jada, but
Yeah.
how can you help other like me? I'm still there's still part of my brain that is somewhat sexist. How can you help? How can you advise us to be more
Well,
open minded
I
today?
I was really angry for a long time. Like, I was, and I'm that ties into me arguing with people on the internet. I was just really angry, and once I was able to have a voice, I used it,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of times it wasn't in a positive way. So I would just I would just I do a lot of meditate. I meditate every day. I mean, that's been
Mm-hmm.
for 5 years. Uh, that has really been one of the things that saved my life. Just listening to your intuition
Uh-huh.
and how you feel. I mean, not every woman who comes out of the religion needs to be an activist, a
Mm-hmm.
feminist.
I agree.
Just
Mm-hmm.
find your voice, find where you're comfortable, and lean into it. I mean, you don't have to, like I said, be an activist. You don't have to fight anybody. You're just find your authentic self, find your authentic voice, and go with it. I mean, it's
I love that.
what makes you happy.
I
But
love
your
that. I
true
love that.
self, your true north.
Yeah. Just focus on ourselves. Uh-huh.
Hmm.
Yes,
Listen
that's
to your
very.
intuition.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the number one thing. I mean, if somebody is still on the fence, or maybe they're physically in but mentally out, and they're on the fence and they're wondering,
Mm-hmm.
should I get out? Listen to your intuition. I mean, even before you go for therapy, if you need it, or anything like that, the number one step is quiet your mind so that you can listen to what your intuition,
Mm-hmm.
your gut is telling you, and
Mm-hmm.
go with that. Because when you start ignoring what your gut is telling you, that's when you get the problems that I had, that I couldn't even step into a kingdom hall without having a panic attack. My body was telling me, this is it, it's time to get out. And if you're not going to listen to me, I'm going to make it really difficult for you.
Mm-hmm. 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 Your body is telling you something. Oh, we have a
Yeah.
question. Did you go through a fierce state of affairs when letting go of the paradise earth ideology?
Okay,
Ideology.
can you say that again? The
Did
writing's so
you
small on my phone, I can't
okay?
read it.
It says, did you go through a fierce state of affairs when letting go of the paradise earth ideology?
Yes, yes, because all of a sudden it's weird, because all of a sudden you're you've got to change your mind about living forever. I mean, you're all of a sudden hit with your own mortality, Like,
Yeah.
we are going to die. It's like, oh, wait. So what does that mean? So are we going to heaven? Like, what does that mean then? If we're not going to be living in a paradise earth and playing with pandas all day, what what is that going to, what does that mean now? And that, for me, because when I changed my belief system to something else, it was a lot easier for me to grasp
That,
and to accept. But that's something that my husband still struggles with 5 years
mm,
later, and we talk about it a lot. But it is something that he still struggles with, because he expected to live forever on a paradise earth, and we would never grow old. We would just have forever to be together. And now you've got to make up your mind that that's not going to happen. I mean, they lied to you, and so you've got to figure out, like, what you believe. But also, something else that was really important for me was that I don't have to have all the answers. Like, I don't
yeah.
need a spreadsheet with
Mm-hmm.
a little pointer where I tell everybody, well, this is what I believe, and this is, the year it starts, and this is how it's going to, we're all going to end up, and everything is in, black and white, everything's concrete. It's okay not to know. It's okay to just say, I don't know. I don't know what
Yeah.
happens when we die.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know if there is a God. I have no idea, and it's okay. It's okay to not know. And at first, that was really hard for me to grasp that, because as a witness, we need to know those scriptures. We need to know exactly what's going to happen. And if there's anything that we don't know, well, we better just believe what the governing body says, or just have faith that God is going to take care of it, and
Yeah.
we're all going to be happy anyway.
We have that certainty when we were Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. But it's humbling, when you accepted the fact that you cannot know everything. You don't know certain
yeah,
things. That is a
yeah.
humbling experience. Well, I
It
experienced that
is.
also.
It's
Hmm.
humbling, and it's freeing. It
Yes.
when you think about it, it's you're free. Like, your decisions that you make every day doesn't depend on whether or not you're going to live in a paradise earth forever, right?
Hmm.
So if you do something, you mess up, you don't have to worry about God killing you
Yes.
at Armageddon.
Uh,
So it's like, okay, well, yeah, I guess I'm not gonna, live on a paradise earth forever and ever and ever and play with the animals all day. But
uh-huh.
I don't have to worry about every time I have a stray thought of
Yes.
God, you know, coming down
Getting
and
mad at you.
killing me. Yeah,
Yeah.
getting mad at me and killing me at Armageddon. So that's the payoff, I guess.
That's gone. You're not, I mean, you're not anxious about that anymore. That anytime God
No,
can strike you.
no. I
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I was at first. I mean, it's kind of scary coming face to face with your mortality, but
Mm.
I'm not anymore, because I believe that we're all energy, and
Yes.
energy can't be destroyed. It can just change.
Change.
So once
Transform.
this body is done, I'll still be here. I mean, my energy will still be here. It'll just be in a different form.
Hmm.
So that's my new belief structure. And so it's comforting to me.
Yeah. Well, I had the same experience. And also the guilt from the past has been wiped out.
Yeah.
I had that huge guilt from my past that weighs me down. But when I found out that I'm not gonna be in paradise, it all disappeared alongside with it. So
Yeah.
no more
That
guilt and no more incoming guilt whatsoever. And
yes. Isn't that so freeing? It's like a weight getting lifted
yes,
off your chest. You don't have to
yes.
carry around that guilt of sin every time you turn around. Oh, I have a bad thought.
Uh,
You know, you don't have to worry about that anymore. It's like we all have our internal morals, things that we do and things that we don't do, and that's what we need to be true to, is ourselves, and we don't have to worry about the governing body or God or anything, because
mhm.
we have our internal moral system that we can go
Mm-hmm.
by. We don't need somebody
Yes.
else.
Yeah. And that's amazing, really. That
Yeah.
I think that's what true freedom means,
Yes.
coming inside us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry
And
about that sin
yes.
always on your shoulder, waiting for you to mess up.
It's yeah, no more ghosts from the past. So
Yes.
and how about telling us about the witch?
Yeah,
how,
a lot of people.
how did you become a witch?
Well, okay, my sister, she was about I don't know 16 or 17, and she decided that that the religion wasn't for her. She was a lot smarter than me. She was a lot braver than me, and so she left as a teenager.
Oh,
And she had always been drawn to the natural nature and the natural world. So she started studying Wicca,
oh,
and she got into a coven, and that's she became a witch. And once I got out, I that had always nature had always I always felt inspired in nature, and it's always interested me. So once I got out, and like I said, it took a year or so for me to even start feeling human again.
mhm.
So after that period, I started asking her questions, and I wanted to know what it was all about. And so she started teaching me, and it was just like, oh wow, this speaks to me. This speaks to my soul. Like this is this is really soothing to me.
Mm.
It really gives me a lot of positive energy. So I started learning everything I could about it, and my sister and I do rituals. We
Oh,
follow the I hate it when I can't think of things. The wheel of the year, the pagan wheel of the year.
oh,
We Witchcraft is like under the umbrella of paganism.
mhm.
All paganism is just if anything outside of mainstream religion.
Christianity. Okay.
Yeah, Christianity, Islam, Judaism, anything that's outside of that is
Mhm.
paganism, and then witchcraft is under that umbrella. And it's just we are just witches are just in tune with nature, the natural rhythm of things. We follow we follow the seasons. Um, we have rituals for spring and summer and the autumn, and we have rituals for the equinoxes and the my brain is just turning off. It's getting late. So we follow the moon phases and things like that. It's just a lot of people are afraid of witchcraft because of what Hollywood and books and movies say, that we worship Satan or some other junk. But Satan is a teaching of Christianity. So witches most witches don't even believe in Satan. So Satanists, there are Satanists, but that's something else other than witchcraft. So we're just in tune with nature. We're in tune with ourselves. We're in tune with intuition, the natural energies of earth, of nature. And so it's just, I mean, it a lot of people are afraid of it, and it's shocking, when you when you tell people, yeah, I'm a witch, and they're like, what? They think you eat babies or something. But that couldn't be farther from the truth.
Okay. What's your favorite year? I mean, in the witch calendar, do you have any favorite?
um I really love fall. Is my favorite time of year, and we're at the end of this month, October, we have our next ritual, Samhain. And Samhain is kind of a subdued ritual, because we're recognizing and honoring people who have died, our ancestors or our family members who have died, and we're honoring them, and we light a little candle for them. And it's a time of remembering people in your family who have passed. So it's a real solemn ritual, but I really love the time of year, autumn. It's a time of renewing. It's when the earth is shedding what no longer serves. Like the leaves are falling, the old growth is dying, and it's going into a time of sleep and rejuvenation, so that in the spring, those things that you planted in February, for Imbolc, which is another one of our holidays, the things that you've planted in Imbolc in the dead of winter in February are starting to grow in the spring. And so it's all very happy and natural. And as the seasons change and as the world changes, you change inside. Like now I'm going through the things in my life that I'm discarding because it no longer serves me. I mean, some of the habits that I've had, or the thoughts that I've had that might have helped me get through things in the past, I don't need them now. So I'm just shedding that and making room for new ideas, new ventures, new things in my life, which in the spring, it'll start growing again.
Oh my God. So the rituals that you do, you absorb it to yourself.
Yes.
You,
Yeah. There
you apply, yeah.
and when I first started doing rituals with my sister, because she'd been doing them for decades, since the 90s when she became a witch. When I first started doing the rituals, I was really surprised at how similar they were to the memorial.
Oh,
Like I was like, wait, what? But
also in
how did
spring?
just any of the rituals, like the we
Oh,
have we honor the god and the goddess, and we light the candles and stuff, and we have cakes and ale, and so we have a little uh, like cakes that we eat, like cookies or
oh,
cakes, and the ritual,
wine?
it could be wine, it could be cider, it could just be anything, and
Uh-huh.
we pass that to each other. May you never thirst, may you never hunger. And
Oh.
when I was doing that, I was like, wait a minute, this is like, what? This is like the memorial when we're passing the wine and the bread, and I'm like, oh, they got that from paganism. Like, wait a minute now. It was really strange. It was surreal, at
hmm
seeing the similarities between rituals in witchcraft and the memorial.
Well, paganism comes before Christianity or the
Mhm.
other Abrahamic religion. So
Yeah,
where did they get it? Right?
exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
And they're always so quick to point the finger. Oh, well, that's pagan. Well, everything is, you know. So, yeah,
Yeah. And then so many things that you now realize were just part
yeah,
of things. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I had no idea that there were other ancient texts besides the Bible. I had no
Yeah.
idea.
A
Like
lot.
in China, like they have ancient texts that predate the Bible
Yeah.
for many years. Like I had no idea. So once my eyes were open and I could study these other
See
things,
clearly.
I'm like,
Mhm.
wow. I can't believe all this was out here my whole life and I had no idea. I was stuck in this little tiny dungeon.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. Well, do you have any words that you want to impart to everyone who is watching? I mean, words of encouragement, something like that.
I would say that no matter where you are on your spiritual journey, Like I said before, be true to yourself. Listen to your intuition, because that is going to be your true north. That is going to be your saving time
Guide.
when
Yeah.
you're down low in the depths and you're trying to heal
Mm-hmm.
from the trauma, the religious trauma, or the trauma that you endured in childhood. Listening to yourself, take some time. uh, we were taught, definitely do not meditate,
Mm-hmm.
in the religion, because it
Yep.
give your mind time to find other things besides Jehovah. Well, if you quiet your mind and listen to what your subconscious is telling you, what
Mm-hmm.
your true self is telling you, and you open your heart to that, you open your mind to that, you immediately experience um, a, a relaxing and just a moment of reality where you feel so much better. You're happier, and it's a long road. I mean, recovery from a high control group, it takes a long time. It takes years, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we'll ever fully recover from that, but that's our experience. I mean, we can learn from everything.
Mm-hmm.
We can learn from our pain. Um, I I had a problem with cutting, self
Mm-hmm.
harm, cutting and burning,
Mm-hmm.
and even that pain that I went through was it brought me to where I am today. Like it's a part of me, and it's sad and it was hard to go through, but it made me the person I am today.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter
Mm-hmm.
where you are on your spiritual journey, or your life journey, take the time to live in the moment, to realize how far you have come,
Mm-hmm.
and know that there's something better over the horizon. I mean, it is so freeing to be out of the cult. It's just mind-boggling. You
Mm-hmm.
won't always be sad. You won't always feel stuck um, that stuck feeling. It you can escape. You can get
Mm-hmm.
out, and it's so worth it. I mean, it's a lot
Mm-hmm.
of work, but oh, it's so worth it.
It's all worth it, getting that. I mean, getting yourself back.
Yeah,
That is,
yeah.
yeah,
Think
that
of
is
your old,
awesome.
think of yourself, your old self, and just hug yourself. Like, give your inner child. I mean, I know it sounds corny, but
Mhm.
think about that child that you were in the religion, and how you were treated, and how alone you felt, and how scared you were, and hug yourself. Like,
Yeah.
just give yourself love. And you made it. You made it out. Like, you made it through, and you've got your whole life is ahead of you. Yes, we're not
Mm-hmm.
going to be playing with pandas on a paradise earth, but you know what, who cares? Because right now we can travel the world, we can do whatever we want, we can write books, we can write songs, we can sing songs, we can just do whatever you want. I mean, it's so freeing. So in those low times, just acknowledge that you're in a sad moment, but just shut your shut your mind down, and just think, be grateful, have a gratitude practice every morning.
Mm-hmm.
When I left, I heard about the law of attraction, and I watched that documentary, The Secret. I read the book also, and in the documentary, there's a part where this man, I believe he was uh, depressed or suffered from depression or something, but he got this rock, this gratitude rock. It was just a rock, and he set
Mm-hmm.
it by his bed every morning. And when he woke up, he held on to that rock, and he said 5 things he was grateful for. And I
Mhm.
did that. I found this
Mhm.
rock on a by a river, and I brought it home, and I had that rock for like 2 years. And every morning I held on to that thing, and I'm like, "Oh, these are the 5 things that I'm grateful for today." And it was hard.
Mhm.
It was so hard. But if you keep doing it, if you keep doing it every day, it wears new pathways in your brain. It's strange. It sounds goofy, but it's true. It's
It's
totally true.
therapeutic. Yeah.
Yeah,
Therapeutic
just
for us.
count
Uh-huh.
your blessings, be grateful,
Mhm.
meditate, and it will get you through. It will
Mhm.
absolutely get you through. And if you need to, seek therapy because it helps.
Yeah. Oh, we have a question. How has therapy been a big help for you?
Therapy helped me. My therapist, she's helped, and the weird thing is that at the same time that I was going, she was seeing 3 other witnesses in this
Oh,
area.
in
So it,
demand.
yeah, it's weird. So there must have been like a little exodus at that time. But my therapist helped me to stop the circular thinking,
Mm.
to have a break in my thought patterns, to take a breath, okay, and stop thinking, stop being angry at the elders, stop being angry at the governing body, stop
Mhm.
being angry at God. Just
Mhm.
just stop. It's like she helped me to be able to identify when I started getting that circular thinking, and it was just going on all day and all day and all day, and it was making
Just
me
going back forth.
back and forth, it,
Mhm.
like on a loop, like a broken
Mhm.
record. And she made me, um, she helped me be able to identify that. Oh, okay, this is my thoughts. I need to stop it now.
Mhm.
And it was hard. It was so hard. Changing your mind, changing your thought patterns. If you think losing weight is hard, changing your brain is way harder.
It's
So
painful.
it is painful. It is so
It is.
painful.
It
Oh, because
is.
oh my gosh. I mean, and it took a long time because like I would be doing it constantly all through the day. I'd be okay. Wait, I'm getting into that thought pattern. Stop.
Mhm.
and and I would identify it and then go in the opposite direction. Okay, so this is how I'm feeling. This is what I'm thinking. I'm gonna go in the opposite direction.
Oh.
Think of something positive. Think
Mhm.
of something good in my life. Do my gratitude practice. Journal journal something that I like about my life right now.
Mhm.
And she was very helpful in that way, and she was also very helpful in helping me realize that I was in a high control group. I was
Mhm.
that what they said wasn't truth. Like it wasn't the end all be all written in stone. Oh, this is from God. It
Mhm.
wasn't. And she helped me very. It was very slow because I was a true believer, an absolute true believer, and it was very slow. But it was like baby steps, and she
Mhm.
just helped me identify like the root. Where does that feeling come from? Like, why are you so mad at your mother? Like, where can you remember back to that first time that you felt that?
Mhm.
Okay, now then when I would identify, and sometimes it was hard, and it took me a long time to identify where I first felt that. Okay, and then she would take me back and say, okay, so could that be maybe not the truth? Maybe that's what you
Mhm.
thought at the time, and you were pretty young, so maybe that's how it seemed. But can you see that maybe that wasn't how it really was? And then I could see, well, yeah, yeah, I was I was little, and when you're little, everything is so big, and
Mhm.
every little incident, especially to somebody like me, I'm very impressionable. Somebody like me, every little incident is gonna get imprinted on you.
Mhm.
But perhaps the way you're remembering it isn't quite as devastating as you think it is. So there's a lot of things that she helped me with, and
Mhm.
I still see her occasionally now when I need to talk through some things, because
Mhm.
I wasn't real sure, like, what other if what I was feeling other people were also feeling too, because when you're in the witnesses, you can't talk about certain things because
Mhm.
you'll get reported to the elders.
Yep.
And so there's a lot of things that are off topic that even your close friends in the religion, you can't talk to them about, because then you'll be labeled spiritually not
Weak.
strong, you know,
Mhm.
spiritually weak. And then you'll have a soft shun going on, and then all your friends won't talk to you, and whatever. So there's
Mhm.
a lot of
Mhm.
things that you can't discuss. So when I got out, I didn't know that the feelings that I had been feeling are natural. They're just human feelings. Like,
Yes.
everybody has them. What? So that
Yes.
it wasn't me. I wasn't bad. Everybody has these feelings. So that was also something that she helped me realize.
Amazing. Amazing. That's awesome. I mean, it's not, I mean, it's not really a one-stop go to the therapist. You have to keep
Oh,
coming back,
oh
even though
yeah,
after
yeah,
all the sessions, from time to time,
yeah.
you need to come back and
Yeah,
refresh,
I
something
saw
like
her
that.
every week for a year, a little over a year and a half, every single
Mm-hmm.
week. And
Mm-hmm.
I stopped going for a while once COVID hit, and I
Okay.
was like, "Ah," we were all crazy. But I've started seeing her again recently a few times, just to kind of talk things out, because
Yes.
I was having a hard time getting started writing again
Uh-huh.
after COVID, because I took all this time off from doing anything, and I needed to get back into the swing of things.
Mm-hmm.
So I see her a couple of times a month to try to, like,
Oh, okay.
almost like a coach, I guess. Like, yeah, rah rah rah, you can do this, you
Yes.
can do this.
Mm-hmm. A little push. So
Yes. Or
we
a big
all
push,
need that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, off the cliff, come
Yeah, I enjoy this conversation with
on.
you.
Yeah,
I learned
thanks.
so much
Yeah.
from, especially
Yes.
from, yeah, from witchcraft.
Yeah,
I
yeah, like, don't be afraid of it. I mean,
Yeah.
we're just these tree huggers out here.
Oh, I
we
used to do
we
that. I used
Yeah,
to do that. I go
hug
to,
the trees.
yes, when I feel so low and down before
Yes.
I go out and just hug trees. I
Yeah.
get energy from that.
They're energy. They're
Yeah.
and science has found this out, that trees are connected energetically to all the trees around them. And
Yeah.
if one is feeling it has, like, some kind of depletion of something inside of it, the other ones will send will know it energetically and
Yeah.
send
Yeah.
nutrients up through
Mm-hmm.
their roots. So
Amazing.
there's so much that science hasn't discovered yet, and that's what magic is. I mean, we in our rituals, and as witches, we're manipulating energy, we're raising energy
Yes.
and manipulating energy, and that's all magic is just something that science hasn't caught up with yet. I mean,
Yeah.
soon the scientists will be able to say, yeah, that's true. I mean,
Yeah.
it's energy, and there is a way to manipulate it. So that it's just whatever beliefs that Hollywood has instilled in people about witchcraft, just put all that aside and know that we are just, I guess, hippies at heart. We're just tree hugging hippies. We
Yeah.
just love
Yeah.
nature.
Yeah. 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 And I agree. There's always magic everywhere. We just have to open our eyes. Yes.
Yep.
And feel
Yeah.
the magic. Yeah.
Yeah. Feel the
Yes.
energy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
if I would have listened to myself now, my old self 5 years ago or 10 years ago, I'd be thinking, oh my God, what's wrong with this person? She needs help. She's one of those woo woo people, but it's
Yes.
true. It's true. I mean, if it if it makes you happy and it breathes life into your cells, and it just
Mhm.
it gives you purpose for life. Well, you
Go
know what?
for it.
It's go for it, right? It's not negative. It doesn't make
Yes.
you feel bad. It doesn't give you depression. It
Yeah.
helps you.
Hmm. Well, I feel your energy. I feel so happy and refreshed, and
Good.
yeah, like I can go out right now and just be myself and enjoy my
Oh,
day.
good.
Yeah,
If I
you know,
if I just did one thing today, if that was it, yes.
that's one thing about me. I can feel other people's energy when somebody
Oh,
is so
good. You're an
vibrant and
empath.
happy. You're good energy. So, but
Good.
if I feel anger and pain from the other side, it will manifest on myself. But with
Yeah.
you, I'm feeling all the good energy.
Oh,
I'm so
good.
happy.
Good. Shed that stuff that does no longer serve you. It's a great time. It's fall. Just
Yep.
get rid of it.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you for
Really
having
appreciate you
me.
coming.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Yeah. I wish we can